My story is basically I trained, I graduated high school in '98. I took a year off, saved money. Me and my best friend moved to Cincinnati and trained with Les Thatcher. What's cool for me is that I actually called the Monster Factory for training too. So we just called schools all over the country and to see like where to go. And we ended up going to Les's, but like this was either our number 2 or number 3. I trained at Les's it was around 2000. Our school got a developmental deal with WWF at the time. That was when WCW closed, and they closed the developmental territory in Memphis. So like they took all the young WCW guys that were on TV. They came to our school, like Charlie Haas, his brother Russ, Umaga, his brother, all the guys that were in Memphis. They came to us. So we had this big hodgepodge, and then like Benoit came. Like when Benoit was coming off an injury, he came down there. Dr. Tom Pritchard came. And he was teaching us to lock up, and it was like you didn't like if you even like touched him, he was like whoa, loosen up, man, loosen up. It's like it's loose. And then Benoit came later, and somebody locked up with him. He was like, what the fuck are you doing? Lock up. I just figured out the best way. When we were getting confused, when we were in Cincinnati and all these different guys were training us, like we just figured it was like, all right, like Eddie Guerrero was there for a little bit. There were certain things that he would pinpoint and pick out, and I like that stuff, so I would hold on to that stuff. And then like Dreamer would talk about other things. I would just pick little stuff up from different guys. You know what I mean? Because you eventually. Like you guys are all young now, you're gonna eventually come. You have to start coming into your own eventually. You know what I mean? You have to train, you have to learn the fundamentals, all that stuff. But after a certain amount of time, you're gonna start coming into your own. Like for me, I didn't start coming into my own. I heard the wrestling over 10 years, and I finally at that point I just said fuck it. Like I'm gonna start doing some stuff that I want. I know how it's trained, but like I want to start doing some stuff now that I want to do. And then I came into my own, and that's how, fast forwarding now, big part of my story is, I was basically on Indies for 17 years, and then I got signed to Impact Wrestling just about a year and a half ago. And I just started doing wrestling full time, like a year ago after 17 years. So, in that 17 years, like, I look back and like I know where I made mistakes and why it took me so long to get signed and stuff like that. So it's like I don't know. I just hope I can help you guys with some of that stuff if you get confused. I just want you guys to realize too, like I was asking who's like from around here, who's traveled and stuff like that. Like you guys, I just want to make sure you guys like appreciate this place because this is my first time here. This is fucking phenomenal. I don't know if you've ever seen like any other schools in the country. Like they don't look like this. Like, not even close. I had this same speech. There's finally a ring in Buffalo where we're at now. I tell those guys this just because there's a nice ring, and it's literally just a ring with 4 walls around it, and it's like guys, you have a nice ring, and this place has heating and air conditioning. Like this is pretty good. Like this is just fucking. Man, you have a whole fucking gym. That's incredible. 2 rings, like, you know what I mean? Like this, please guys, make sure you appreciate this because you're in a very, very good spot. And I mean, all the connections that Danny has, like your trainer was on Stone Cold's podcast. That's nuts, dude. You know what I mean? Like it's good shit because, I always tell, I remember seeing this when I was looking into wrestling schools. I was a big Rob Van Dam mark when I was a teenager when I watched his shoot interview. And on the shoot interview, somebody asked him about wrestling schools, and a big thing he said was he was just like, when you're looking at places, like, who's come out of there, who have they trained? You know what I mean? Like, think about who you're training with, and like with Danny, like at this place and with Danny, like, dude, you guys are in a really good spot because you can have a good trainer, but like they might not have any connection. That shit that goes a long way. So like trust me, you guys, you're in a really good spot here. And you got a lot of good shit going on. Actually, put Danny over a little more. In fact,
Thank you, thank you.
A big thing too is like, he does this full time. Like, is anybody here in their 30s, or is everybody in their 20s? Okay. I feel like, I don't know, I figured a lot of things out 30 on. Danny doing this full time says a lot. Like, that was, to me, that was always kind of depressing when I was younger, and like, you would train somewhere and it was like, oh yeah, but you know, the trainer of the school, he works full time at a warehouse down the street too or something. And so I was just like, oh man, it's kind of like a bummer. But it's like, you know, the fact that Danny does this full time, it tells you like he knows what he's doing and he can help you guys out is good. I would imagine everybody here kind of wants to do this full time eventually. That's the goal. So like, you know, that's very important. Hopefully this kind of segues into what else I was going to get into. Like, I'm very big on too, like surrounding yourself in a good environment where you want to be.